All right, Miss Wilson, you're going to show us how to do standard deviation. Miss Wilson, now you're going to have to liven up. What's the matter with you? You got to liven up. It's another day in paradise, Miss Wilson. Okay, Miss Wilson's not going to cooperate with me today, so I guess we'll just quit school and just, huh? You're taking your boat to the mountains. You think about moving to the mountains? Alaska? Oh, I watch that. I watch, my show is Gold Rush. I watch Gold Rush religiously. And in fact, I've actually thought about going down there in the bottoms and taking my track hoe and digging down and fixing me a sluice box and see if I can find any gold. I'd probably end up blowing up or something because I do have the opposite of the Midas touch. I touch something, if it's gold, it falls apart. But I have actually thought about going in and down the bottoms and digging some holes and seeing if I could make a sluice box and all that stuff. But I'd love to do that. But that show comes on right after it. And I've tried to watch it. But do you like it?
I don't like the Browns.
Yeah.
But I watch the other.
Those kids running around in the woods acting like they're wolf men. I think they're on drugs. They try to act like those guys on what's the movie about the vampire and the Breaking Dawn? They try to act like those guys on them wolf guys on.
You see, I don't know. They say they're not acting, but
I think they're acting.
yeah, I can't get into it.
I mean, I'm a country bumpkin, but I don't run around in the woods and go, "Wow!" I don't do that. Well, if I do, that's a Jack Daniels and Jim Beam in the middle of the two. All right. Here's a frequency distribution. I want y'all to find the mean and standard deviation. Do it. I'm ready to quit. All right. The mean and the standard deviation. Well, we talked about the mean. I think we talked about the mean the other day. What did we talk about last? We started talking about frequency distributions, right?
Yeah.
All right. This problem is not in your book. It's not in your, I don't like your book, so I want you to make sure that you're able to learn something out of this, but that book is just not good. So, what I want to do is I want to write down the formula for a standard deviation. Now, most of you can find the mean and standard deviation of your test scores, right? That is called the list data. I call it list data. In other words, you have 5 or 6 numbers and you find the mean and standard deviation. I'm not worried about you learning that because 90% of you have been drilled about that because you found your mean of what? Your grade at the end of the semester. So most of you know how to find the mean. Standard deviation, some of you don't know how to do. We'll get to that. But this one, y'all don't know how to find either because nobody ever taught you. And if they have taught you, you probably didn't remember it very well. So, to find the mean of the standard deviation, I meant the mean of the frequency distribution, the mean is equal to the summation of f times x over n. So that's how you find the mean. So there's 2 types of data. There's list data, test scores, which y'all know how to find the mean. And then there's frequency distribution, which is a grouped up version of the list data. And you don't see the list data, you just see how many people made 20 to 26, or how many people are the age 27 to 23, how many are blah, blah, blah. You don't have the data listed 23, 27, 28, 29, or 27, 28, 34, 35, 35, 35, 36, 37, 42, 43. In other words, you don't see the list, you just see this, and that's the difference between the two. Now, on this formula right here, I want you to put And this is what I tell all my students, whether they're in 103 or whether they're in 120. Put a set of braces around that first part, because the common error that students make is they'll do all that math up there on the top and they'll multiply it by n because of the way it's written. And it's written correctly, it's just that people assume, when you assume, and they think that they take n and multiply by this whole thing. And that's not right. The n is only multiplied by this part right here. Why is that? Because that number has to be a VA number. It has to be bigger than the what? Than this number. Why? Yep. And you can't take the what? You can't take the square root of a negative number. So if you get a negative number, you either have no clue what's going on, or you've written the problem down, or you've done something, wrong with writing formula. Because that number right here is supposed to be bigger. This number in the braces, the blue braces, is supposed to be bigger than this number. Alright, so let's talk about what everything is. Because you got three parts of this formula. What are the three parts? F, Hubert, yeah, that's right. And then what? X, and then what? N. You got to know those three parts. And then once you know those three parts, you can do everything else. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this by hand, because I guarantee you there's some silent drill team calculator people out here that were on the silent calculator team in high school. You know what I'm talking about. Or around on fingers. Can't take the square root of 25 out of the calculator. Those people. Alright. You also see them in the real world. They work at the cash registers, and you give them 6 cents, $11.56. You give them $20.06, and their head explodes. Those are the people I'm talking about. I show you this by hand. Be quiet. Don't say anything. Tell them yourself. All right. What's that? Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you're talking about me. Anyway, I shut down Highway 81 McDonald's. The manager had to go out to his car to get a calculator. Anyway, that really happened. I got a witness. A friend of mine was with me. Anyway, I don't know what I was talking about. Oh, I'm going to show you how to do this by hand. Now, I'm going to show you how to do it by hand on the Excel spreadsheet just for organizational purposes. All right? After I show you how to do it by hand, you can use the calculator to find the frequency distribution, but there's a problem. You have to type in everything on the list. And for some people, that's a pain in the butt. I'd much rather do it on an Excel spreadsheet. If I'm going to type it in, I'd much rather do it on an Excel spreadsheet. And I'll show you why in a few minutes, because technically you don't have to type anything in, you just copy and paste. And then you can do it on the Excel spreadsheet if you want to. So there's three ways to do it. By hand, I'm going to show you how to do it by hand right now. And then you can do it on your calculator. I don't show people how to do it on the calculator because it's a pain. But if you can put it in the list, then you can do it on the calculator. And then to do it on the Excel spreadsheet. And once we do a couple of problems by hand, I'll slow it down on the Excel spreadsheet so you can actually see how to do it. That's why these videos and screen captures are so important for those people that want to see how to do things. You can do the screen capture and rewind. So anyway, or the video, but it's better with the Excel spreadsheet to do it on the screen capture, which is usually the first thing I post. All right, so we need three things. F, we got it. F is the frequency, which frequency is a 25-cent impress your friend's word for what? Head count. So F is equal to the head count. That's these guys right here. Those are your F's. Now, I preferably do not like to show this problem linearly. I like to show it vertically. So I'm not even going to do it this way. I'm going to show you vertically. because you need to do your columns vertical. And we'll get to that just a minute. The biggest one that people don't know what it is this guy. Because everybody knows that end is the summation of what? F, Hubert. That's right. So you add all those together. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 5 is 8. 10, 26, 46, dang old 80. Somebody add them up for me. Silent calculator team, add it up for me real quick. So n is equal to 80. So at least get n. Mr. DeVoe, you're sitting at a test, you have no clue what's going on, at least give me n, okay? So I can give you at least 1 point. What? Okay, 90. See, I can't add. Thanks, Mr. DeVoe. I appreciate it. 90. There you go. Head count, you got that. That's right here. So why is x a problem? X is a problem because people don't know what x is. X is the what? Midpoint. Now, let's use law of deduction. What is n? N is the summation of f, and f is the head count. So there's n. So what's the only thing left? The classes, Hubert. That's right, class. And what can we calculate using 20 to 26? Or 34 to 40? Can we calculate anything with that number? No. It's a class. It's a range. Unless you want to calculate each number. Let's see. 34 minus blah, 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 plus blah, blah, blah. 35 minus blah, blah, blah. 36 minus blah, blah, blah. You'd have to count every single one of them. So, what I'm trying to tell you is this is the only thing that's left, isn't it? So what do you think the midpoint is going to consist of? It's the only thing left. I'm trying to tell you this is not difficult if you just mark off what you know and what you don't know. So the midpoint of this guy you're going to get, and the midpoint. I'm going to show you how to do that. But first of all, I'm going to change all of this into a vertical format so it would be easier for you to follow along. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all this. I'm going to copy all of this. So I'm going to go to this little icon right here. Everybody, look at that little icon. It's a little copy icon. Click on it one time with your left mouse key and copy to clipboard. Now you can copy to the Stat Crunch and do it on Stat Crunch. No sneezing, please. I'm trying to teach. All right. Go sick. Go be sick in the hallway or something. All right. Drink juice. All right. Copy table to clipboard. Everybody with me? Now I'm going to pull up my handy dandy Excel spreadsheet. And I'm not going to do there. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to put it right here. Now I always copy 3 over and about 4 or 5 down so that way I can put stuff over here if I need it, or I can put stuff up here if I need it. Don't copy it right here because that's just going to cause problems. Copy it down here. Dang old paste. Dang old, where it is. And see, now you don't have to type it in. You don't have to put it in order. You don't have to do anything. Everybody with me? All right. Now let's go through the things that we need. We need F. Do we have F? Yes, right there. So we got F. We need N. So what do we need to do for N? Need to add up all of the F's, Hubert. That's right, class. Thank you. Appreciate the input. Always makes class go a whole lot faster when class has input. Yeah. All right, so there's our N. So we got N, we've got F. Now what do we need? We need x, Hubert. That's right, class. But to get x, you got to calculate. So now this is what I'm going to do. You can go ahead and calculate in your head. 20 plus 26 is 46. Half of 46 is 23. 23 is your first. Okay, you can do that in your head. But I'm not going to do that. For those people that use Excel spreadsheet and use it religiously, I'm going to go through and type in the lower class limits and the upper class limits so I can what? So I can calculate with them. Because you can't calculate with this because that's one field. You can't go this minus this because it's going to give you an ERROR. Pronounce it however you like. 62. Dang old evening class 2. Dang old be quiet. 54. 47. 40. 33. And 26. Okay, now I can find what? X, which I'll put out here for those people that wasn't listening, is the midpoint. Okay, I'm extremely anal when it comes to spreadsheet. I like everything to be in the center. I don't know about y'all, but that's one of my quirks, so I got to fix that. There we go. All right. Now the midpoint, I'm going to take equals, parentheses, and what is the midpoint? The first lower class limit plus the what? First upper class limit, and what I do with it? Divide by 2. It's a miracle. And then I just copy that down and you can check your numbers. Oops. There we go. Now, where's our 3 things that we need? Well, here's one. Dang old color it. Dang old greenish color. Dang old red. We need our X. Dang old rouge. No, I don't know how I'd do orange. How do you say orange in Spanish or French? Huh? No, I was rouge. I said that's French. Dang old, get you dadgum. Get your languages straight. All right. I switch between Spanish and French because I don't know either one very well, so I just switch. What is orange? And I don't even know it in French. What is it? Huh? What? And I'm supposed to work with y'all. I'm supposed to teach y'all something.
What is orange?
Y'all suck. Y'all supposed to be getting this information from your... Okay, forget it.
What is orange in Spanish?
Darnana?
Yeah, N-A-R-A-N-J-A.
Darnana. What about French? Dang old rouge. And we'll color this blue. Blue is French. Alright, so there's the 3 things that you need. Right there. And we'll put an F here because that way you won't get it confused. So dang old F. Did y'all see the beauty pageant contestant that slapped the crown off the winner this morning? Did y'all see that?
That's hilarious.
Did you see it?
I love it. It's hilarious.
I hate beauty pageants, and it was on the news this morning, and I hadn't seen it on YouTube yet. But anyway, they announced the winner, and they put the crown on her, and the first runner-up just slapped it off of her.
That's hilarious.
I know, I love it.
I love this.
All right. So now take your handy dandy formula and find your mean and your standard deviation. All right, now I'm not expecting you to know how to do the standard deviation right off the bat. I do expect you to be able to do the mean. Okay, if you can't do the mean, then you are a total loser. Okay, and you should quit school and live in the ditch. All right. So you should be able to do the summation of f of x over n. So what does summation mean? Summation means you add them all up. Add what all up? Well, take f times x, make a column, and multiply f times x, and then add them all up. So go out to your handy-dandy vertical spreadsheet and make a column over here that's called f of x. F times x, sorry. Oh, just forget it. There. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to call this guy f times x. And I'm going to say equals, and I'm going to take f. I'll do the first one for you. 1 times 23 is 23. I'll do that one for you. Now you do the other ones. I'll even give you a second one. 2 times 30 is 60. Check those. Yep. Bush didn't care. He just, even though he did have a balanced budget the whole time he was there. We had a balanced budget lately? No, we haven't. We haven't had one in close to 8 years.
We did miscalculate that one maybe.
Yeah, no, we didn't. No, they found them. They're over there. They're just in Syria where Saddam Hussein put them. Don't speak. What you need? Am I doing what? Lord, no. They wouldn't let me chaperone anything. I've been banned from 2 conferences, and no, they wouldn't. No. No. If I put in to go, shoot, they'd slap that down faster than. I'm here, the president. There is no way in heck Hubert's going to take a group of students up to.
I said, are you a Democrat? I said no. Like, he's the president of the Democrat.
Indians with a dot, not a feather.
Yes.
That comes from, oh, I better say that before somebody comes and gets me. That comes from Goodwill Hunting. Robin Williams says dot, not a feather. All right. What do you do with that, Miss Wilson, after you get it? What do you do with it? What does summation mean? Add them all up. Now you got your numerator for your mean. Having piglets this morning. Have one so far. And Mama, huh? We tried goats. They are cute, but they are puny. They are puny and they get sick real easy, and I get tired of burying them. You don't want one of ours though, because they grow up and be 300-400 pounds. You want a pot-belly pig, one that grows up like that. Yeah, you want one of them domesticated. No, you don't want one of ours. Dang old, unless you want dang old ham. Huh? Yeah.
You may not want a pig after you've seen that.
Or Rambo.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
At least
that's
Rambo, at least in Rambo, though, you took the pig out versus the pig taking you out.
yeah.
Yeah,
The pigs will do that. Pigs will tear you to pieces.
that's
How
when
do
you
you
get
get a
Hannibal on
cute
your
little
side
baby
so you
you
can
want to
save
treat
your
like your
pig.
child?
What?
How do you get a cute little baby you want to treat like a child?
Yeah, I guess.
This one treat pigs like Chelsea instead.
My friend Casey has one. He was so cute. But I honestly think my dog is cute.
Dogs aren't cute. Dogs are stupid.
I've got the cutest dog ever.
I like cats. I'm sorry. Cats are clean. They are quiet. They do not jump on you and get dirty paws all over you. They don't slobber all over you. And when they're through with affection, they jump out of your lap and go lay down somewhere.
So you know, like scratching your face.
Oh God. Huh?
That's not scratching.
Not unless I'm crimping their tail and slapping them in the face. No. Never had a cat slash my. You must be doing torture or something.
We did like put her in like bags and stuff, and she didn't just do it.
Yeah, I got a cat like that.
But then she,
My cat, my son, my 7-year-old will take the cat, throw it over his shoulder, hang it around his neck, and this is a big cat, and the cat just. But if I tried to do that, he would slap me. But he lets my son do.
she always like would hide
So.
her head under stuff, but her butt would be sticking out, and she thought nobody could see her.
Have you
It
seen
was
the
the
cat
cutest
that
thing.
you get that's like part bobcat, like someone else is like 30 to 40 pounds?
Oh, I'd love to have one.
They
I'd
say
love to
that-
have a tiger.
They say the issue with them right now is that because it's bred with a wild animal,
Mm-hmm.
that they're having issues with communication along with it. So occasionally somebody like attacks you and it's like a freaking
Yeah.
small dog that's biting
Yeah.
you. You're like,
Yeah, so I'll just, until they fix it, I'm not going to mess with it.
Remember that time the family got trapped in the bedroom with a cat? Did you hear about that?
What?
Somebody needs to take that man out and beat him in the floor. The man called. This is so-and-so. My family, we can't come outside of our bedroom because our cat is mad at us. Somebody needs to take that man, take him out behind the woodshed, take a bat, and beat him. That's our society's been gotten pathetic. All right. So, what do you do now? You've got, we know that the mean is equal to the summation of f times x over n, and that's going to be 51/22 over what? 90. All right, and I'm going to stop right now and ask who has questions. Because I don't want anybody coming to me, especially since we have videos and everything that you can go and rewind several times. That comes out to be, and I'll take my handy dandy cursor and put it right here and say equals this guy divided by this guy. And there's my mean.
You also repeat like your bars if you're doing somebody.
That just carry. I'd say carry as a general rule. Carry it to the 100th. And that way you'll always have enough to round at the very end. Because in statistics, when do you round? At the end. At the end, at the problem. The answer that you get. That's when you round. Okay. Now, who's got questions? That's how to find the mean. Now, I want you to ask any questions you got right now because I don't want to go on any further unless you understand how to get that. I just covered it so well, didn't I? Oh, y'all just don't want to ask any questions. Is that it? All right, let's pull up our handy dandy problem that has the formula so we can discourage everyone. All right, look at that one. What are you going to need? Well, we know we got n. I'm not worried about n. N is the least of your worries. You got f of x. You got that. I'm sorry, not f of x. F times x. You've got that. So what else you need? Well, yeah, but you don't, you just take that number that you just used for your mean and square it, but that's not your worries. Where is your worries? What do you not have? Huh? Yeah, well, that's what we're trying to find. But in the formula, the three parts of the formula, the n times blah, 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 that's one part. And then the summation of f times x quantity squared, that's the second part. And then the third, n times n minus 1, that's the third part. Which part do we not have yet? F times x squared, the first part. That's what I was looking for. Y'all just had to say first part. Thank you. All right, the first part. What do we not have in the first part? Now y'all should be able to get that because we got n. X squared. We don't have x squared. So what do we got to get?
X squared.
So we go back to our handy dandy Excel spreadsheet and we insert a couple of columns here. Dang old insert column there. And I'm going to get rid of this. I don't like that. There. All right. So I'm going to call this one x what? Squared. And I'm going to take my handy dandy equal sign. 23 raised to the second power. It's over 400, but I'm not Rain Man, so I don't know. 529. And copy that down. There's our x squared. Stand because of that. I'm going to have to go through and change it. All right, so we're at that point. So now, what can I put over here that will help us out? We got f times x. What else do we need? F times what? You just said it in the first part. F times x squared. So, sorry, I'm having a connection up here. Thank you. All right, F times x squared. And that's going to be equal to F. I'll do the first one for you. Times 529 is 529. There, see? Tell me I ain't smart. There's your numbers. So we'll color this one. Dang old something that'll go with dang old gray, dang old magenta. Anyway. And what do we need for that one also? Sum of it. There we go. All right, now I want everybody in here to do this by hand. I want you to take these numbers. You got 90, you got this number, and you got this number. And what I want you to do, plug in what? Plug and chug into your formula that you wrote down. Right? Cheer. So let me bring this down. Hold on a minute. I'm fixing it for you. There you go. And bring this down there. Dang, what happened to it? Dang, bush. There we go. Take that formula and plug in. Hold on. The things I do for y'all. Y'all not appreciative. Y'all don't care. There, I hope that does it. Has that got everything? There. Yeah. You've got your n, you've got your f times x, and you've got your f times x squared. And you should be able to plug and chug. If not, we're going to do it anyway, so just meditate. There you go. That's the best thing to do. Why? Because it's easy. There you go. Oh my gosh. They've got another stupid show on Discovery, or this show is a show about this guy or these guys that make these extra large swords.
God, yes.
Is that not the stupidest thing? And I wrote them. I wrote them on the mustache thing or the beard thing. They had this show called Beards about these guys that wore these beards. They were screaming for attention. They basically hung a sign around their neck that says, "Please look at me," because that's basically what it was about. And then they had this guy about this show about cavemen and their arm wrestling tournaments. That was about the stupidest thing. This guy was running around having his arm attached to a car, pulling himself on snow, holding his arm like this so he could make his arm strong so he could arm wrestle.
I like it when they lose and they cry.
No, they beat the crap out of the wall first. Now, they got this show about this guy that makes these 50, 100-pound swords, and they make them, and they're not sharp, they just club. They take it and they go across the table, and it doesn't cut the table, it just blunt force trauma the table. I mean, it just stupidest thing ever. Where do they get these ideas? Where do they get these ideas, Miss Wilson? You don't see where I'm coming from, though. What's the point of making a 50-pound sword?
Because someone out there is willing to spend $10,000 on it.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what
Somebody's
he's
gonna buy
sells
it.
it for.
Well, you're gonna residential evil, the movie,
Using what?
What's that?
residential evil.
Resident?
Yeah.
What?
I haven't heard of that one. I watched Gone Girl last night. That's a good movie.
I don't think she uses it.
Gone Girl.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Did you watch that? Is that on?
Yes, on direct. Yeah, I watched it. I watched 3 or 4 movies yesterday.
But I thought you watched one
Who's in them?
you talked about it last week.
I was going to watch it. Pay attention,
What else did you watch?
loser. That's why you're in the Democrat club. Anyway,
Alright, what else did you watch?
I can't remember right now. I'm one of these people that if you ask me, I can't remember, so I got to think when I watch. It'll come up. I'll be doing a problem, and I'll say, "Ding, there it is," and y'all will go, "What?" All right. So what are we gonna do? No, don't think so. I don't want to watch mommy porn. All right. What? See, mommy porn. Well, that's
Well, I guess you're right.
porn. All right, so here we go. Let's take our first guy. Let's take n. What is n? Okay, so 90 times, and then the summation of f times x squared. What is the summation of f times x squared? BA number right there, which I can't get. I hope that's it. That looks like it's it. 299,232. Minus, what is f times x summated? 5122. And what are we going to do to 5122? Over 90 times 89. Now that should be what you initially put in your formula. Now how you do it after that is up to you. I'm going to do it on the Excel spreadsheet, and I will do it. I'm not going to do it all at one time. I'm going to do it in several steps. Now this is your variation. Okay? What am I leaving out of the problem right now? Okay? What is the difference between the variation and the standard deviation? Square root. So I'm going to do the variation first because you need to know the variation, because sometimes on your homework you might be asked the variation, but it's not that detrimental as far as important in this class. So I'm going to go out here and put variance, and I'm going to take equals 90 times equals this guy. I'm going to put minus. Now why did I write the word minus out? Because I put a subtraction symbol there. Excel will have a fit. It'll go all hammy on me. Won't try to find subtraction numbers of something. So that's why I didn't do it. And to the square root symbol there. And I've got to put these because this drives me bananas. There. Alright. Over what? $90 times 89. Okay. So the next step, I'm going to go down, and that's basically this. Is this right here? So I'm going to go variance is equal to, and we'll go 90 equal to 90 times. And that should be a BA number. And it needs to be a BA number. Why? Because it needs to be, when you get through, it needs to be what? Positive. This number squared should be smaller than the BA number. And then we're going to divide that by what? 90 times what? Dang old Bruce Willis movie. What's that? Huh? No, the latest one he come out. He's not the latest Die Hard movie, but he's in a movie about this artificial woman. Forget it. I don't know. In any ways, it was pretty good. I watched it. Can't think of the name of it though. No. Yeah, he has this. He runs this hotel resort. No, he's the owner of this place, and they just you ever do whatever you want to because you can kill and rape people because they're artificial. And one of them escapes, and it's a pretty good movie. But you can't think of the name of it.
I ain't even seen it.
It is. But it's got Bruce Willis in it, and Bruce Willis is the same as Denzel Washington. I saw that movie, Equalizer. I've seen that one. Yeah, I've watched it. That's a good movie. But if it's got Denzel Washington, Sean Connery, Tommy Lee Jones, if it's got one of them actors in it, Bruce Willis is like that. But I don't know. Harrison Ford did that in Game, and I'm like, okay, everybody deserves a flop. But Harrison Ford, Ender's Game, that was about a stupid movie. That qualified as an SA movie. It did. No, I didn't. I tried to watch that. That was stupid. And I love time movies. But that
It's not the Prince, is it?
what?
The Prince. So I'm looking up here, I'm like,
Well, it's just now been on. I mean, it's not old or anything. Over 80-10 and variance is equal to this over this. I get the variance is equal to 87, and the standard deviation is going to be equal to what? Square root of that, which is raised to the 0.5 power. I get 9.3 or 9. Is that what y'all got?
Yeah.
All right.
So you only take one decimal point from one?
No, I'm just saying 9 right now because you carry it to 3 decimal places, and then when you type in your answer, read the directions and see what it says. So I'm going to put my mean down here also. I'm going to put the mean right below it because the mean and standard deviation is what you want. You care less about the variance. That's equal to this guy right here. Is this it? Is it 56? Is that it? I guess that's it. Okay, now here is your most important things. There's number 1, and we'll give it a pretty green color. Not that olive drab stuff. And this is your other pretty green color. We'll color it yellow. Yeller. Alright, y'all with me? Now what do they mean? Well, this is where I go to my shaft and bearing scenario, which I got made fun of by the one I threw out last semester. She got on break my professor and said I was stupid for doing this, but she just couldn't grasp the concept because it was above her head. Her IQ was about that of one of these lines, 88, like that. Anyway, let me take you to a scenario of, and I've already drawn it out. I think I have. Yeah. Now, you look at that, I'm a terrible artist, okay? That is basically a bearing and a what? Shaft. That's what it is. It's like in the industry, you see them a lot on roller assembly lines. You see, or small assembly lines, you see a bearing and shaft every 50 feet because a belt runs on them or rollers, but something has to drive the belt. And you see a lot of these. A lot of your textile industries, you get these big rollers that are 5-6 feet in diameter. Have you ever seen those? They're huge, but they run on a shaft that runs between 2 rollers. Now, the whole purpose of me bringing this up is because of accuracy and precision. Okay? Again, 2 concepts that most people with normal IQ can grab hold of. And there's a shaft and a bearing. What is essential for a shaft and a bearing to work correctly? No, wrong answer. Shut up. Anybody? Any mechanical people in here? Any mechanical drawing people? You remember mechanical drawing or CAD in high school? If you had any CAD or mechanical drawing, it's a T word. What's the T word I'm looking for that shaft and that bearing to work? TOLER. Good job. Tolerance. What is tolerance? Not the political stupid word. I'm not talking about that. What is tolerance? It's how the shaft fits onto, the bearing fits onto the what? Shaft. What happens if the tolerance is too high and there is a gap between the shaft and the bearing? And that shaft is turning at 2,500 RPMs. What's going to happen? It's y'all's parents' fault. It's y'all's parents' fault that y'all don't know this. When a bearing is loose, the term loose, on a shaft, and the shaft is turning at 2,500 RPMs, that shaft is going to beat the what? Beat the daylights out of that bearing. And what's going to happen to the bearing? It's going to break apart. Okay? And while that bearing is getting broken apart, what's happening to the shaft? It's getting scarred up, it's getting battered, it's getting rough places on it. And what's going to eventually happen? It's going to fall apart, and you're going to have to replace the shaft, and you're going to have to replace the what? Bearing. Why? Because in order for the shaft and bearing to work, it has to be just about pressed onto the shaft. So the tolerance is very minimal. So it's a very what fit? Tight. You have to take a sledgehammer or a press, and you have to, well, you don't beat the bearing, but you take a socket or a spacer and you tap that bearing onto that shaft. Eventually, will it wear out? Yes. But the tighter that bearing fits on that shaft, the less maintenance is going to have to be done. What does this have to do with it? Well, if you have a tight fit, then you won't have any problems. Everybody with me? All right? Let me ask you another question. You're at Paris Island. You're trying to learn how to shoot a rifle. And you're taught to go through the 2 weeks of sitting on your rear end in certain positions, firing a rifle. And you finally get out to the firing range, and two different people shoot these two different groups. All right, the first one on the left that's about the size of a plate, a dinner plate. You know, you shoot stuff off of. I'm sorry, dinner. Okay, about like that, 10 inch, stuff like that. And then this guy over here has got a group that looks about like 7, 8 foot person. All right, what's wrong with the guy on the left? Nothing. What do you mean? He didn't hit the bullseye. Is he precise or is he accurate? He's accurate. Why is he accurate? Because his group is within 10 inches. At 300 yards, within 10 inches, that's pretty good. That's somebody's head. I'm sorry. Shouldn't say that. All right. What about this guy? Well, what can you tell from this group? Can anybody tell me? Any of you crazy crackpot people out there can tell me what's wrong with this group? Yeah, you got to get into it to be crackpot. You got to understand what's wrong. The up and down. Anybody tell me what that means? He's breathing. He's breathing. He's exhaling and inhaling when they are supposed to be squeezing the trigger. Okay? This is exhale. Okay, inhale, exhale. What's this guy right here mean? Well, he's a right-hander. Is he squeezing the trigger or pulling the trigger? Pulling the trigger. Left-hander, pulling the trigger. So this guy's all over the place because he's not listening to his instructor, and he's very what? His group is very what? So is his group, is he very productive with his shots? Yeah, he's going to get us off good. What about that guy? He's very accurate. He's in a 10-inch group. What does he have to adjust? Yeah, but how does he do that? Is it anything to do with his finger, his control? No, his breathing is right. His squeezing the trigger is correct. But what's wrong? His name is fine. He shoots right down the bottom of the barrel. The windage is off. He's got to go 2 clicks to the right and maybe a half a click down on his front sight post. I'm psychotic, right? If you know anything about guns, you're psychotic, right? Yeah, I thought so. Only good gun control is gun control with 2 hands, right? Use two hands, two guns? Oh, bad. All right. The whole point is, what happens when the group is tight?
Exactly.
Yep, it's accurate. And do you produce something? Yes. What happens when the group is loose? There's no production. Now, of course, this has nothing to do with numbers. Nothing to do with numbers, because I'm stupid. All right? What does this have to do with? The standard deviation is basically your teller of your data. In other words, it indicates whether your data is loose or if it's what? Tight. The lower the number in perspective to your numbers, the tighter your data is. Let me ask you a question. If your mean is 76 and your standard deviation is 60, is your data loose or is it tight? Well, it's loose because 72 is your numbers. Okay, your numbers are anywhere from 69 to 78, somewhere in there. And you got a 60 standard deviation. That means your numbers are all over the place. But what if you have a mean of 72 and a standard deviation of 2? That means your data is tight. That means your data is normal. It is feasible to have that data versus a standard deviation of 25 or 36. You see why the shaft and the front sight post. Oh, and if you look in your book, there is an example of accuracy and what? Precision. Which accuracy and precision is basically the T word, which is tolerance. But shaft and bearing is stupid. So, let's look at this data that we just generated. You got a mean of 57 and a standard deviation of 9. Tight or sloppy? It's tight. I mean, think about it. Your data is 60. For your data to be sloppy, you'd have to have a standard deviation of 20 or 30 or 40. Yes? I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm off the clock. Take the square root. Raise it to the 0.5 power. All right, now what the heck does this mean? Well, y'all remember. Okay, I'm gonna make this data 60. Okay, the reason I am is for. Okay. All right, I'm going to round this up to 60 just for instructional purposes. Okay, because I'm going to draw a picture on the next page, and I don't want to have to like 56 plus 9, 56. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to do 60. All right. In this class, in these first two units, first and second unit, you've got to get used to seeing the picture of this. And 2 standard deviations to the left and 2 standard deviations to the right. The mean is always in the middle because that's the best example of center. So what was our mean? 60? 56 really. 56 point blah blah blah. We're using 60. And 2 standard deviations to the right. Right means positive or negative. So that would be 69 and 70 what? 78, that's right, because we're adding 9 on both sides. Now, if adding is addition, what do you think, or to the right is addition, what do you think to the left is? Subtraction. 69 minus 9 is 50, 60 minus, what's that? 51. 51 minus 9 is? Now, I want you, in your book, or it's in the, I don't know what they call it in this book, it could be called something totally crazy. But in statistics, it's called the Empirical Rule. And I don't know if I spell empirical right. I always want to put an H there. I don't know if it's correct or not. But the empirical rule basically states that 95% of the population is going to fall between what? 2 standard deviation. 2 to the left and 2 to the what? To the right. I want you to read up on this guy. I want you to find it, whether you have to go to the internet or not. It's called the empirical rule. Somebody look in your book. Somebody have a book. See if you can find it. It'll have this, and it'll have 95% like this between 2 standard deviations. See if you can find it in your book, and it'll be in chapter 5 or 6. I think we're in chapter 5 or 6. That's close, but not yet. Find what chapter we're in. Okay, keep looking and see if you can find it. It'll have percentages on it, and it'll be colored. No, it'll have different. It'll be blocked. It'll have blocks like this.
Like this?
Yeah, but that's not in the book. That's not going to help you. It'll have blocks like this. This will be, is this 38%? 34%? 34% like that. And this will be, huh? You found it? Yeah, turn to page 386 and 387. That's what do they call it? I'm looking to see. Come back in. That looks like it. In that area, 387 to 389. They call it the empirical rule in Math 120. And in most statistics, it's called, if they call it something different. Study up page 387. Was it 386 or 387? Huh? 387 through what? 389. Study those pages before the next class, because everything that you do in chapters 5 and 6 from here on out, I mean in Unit 1 and Unit 2, will be based on this guy right here. And you got to know the percentages right here, here, and here. I think this is 2.5, and this is 2.5. Somebody tell me what these are. I always forget these two. Like, yeah, 13.5 here and 13.5. I need you to memorize these percentages and read up on the empirical rule. Okay? That's your homework along with working on chapter 3 homework. Make sure you know how to use that formula I just showed you how to use. We'll do some more. Don't worry. We'll do some more come Wednesday, okay? All right. Let me call the roll. Let me stop this do-jigger. Somebody